Okay, I'm going to explain everything in Paint 3D afterwards, but for now I'm just going to show you how. So if we look at the composite, we can see that the astronomy sensor, the first three outputs are the X position, Y position, and Z position. And velocity is just the change of position over time. So we just need to figure out how fast those values are changing. So let's go over to the microcontroller editor. I'm not going to name it for now, but I'm going to add two nodes. The first will be a composite input from the astronomy sensor, and the next will be a number output. If you want all of your velocities individually, just add more number outputs, and I'll show you when you can attach them. But for now, I want my velocity as just one, the total velocity, I guess you could say. And I'm going to change my width to what I need it to be. You can change your width length to whatever, really. And I'm going to spread them apart after going to logic. And then, because I need the position, I need to read it from the composite. So I'm going to get a composite read a number. And I'm just going to copy and paste that 3 times for the X, Y, and Z. Now I'm going to connect this composite to all of them, and then I need to change the channel. So channel 1 is X, that's fine. Channel 2 is going to be Y, and channel 3 is Z. Now I need to figure out how much these values are changing over time, because right now all it's giving me is position. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a block called delta. Delta tells you how much something is changing in 1/60th of a second. Now if we wanted our velocity in meters a tick, that would work just fine. But we're going to have to multiply this by 60 to go from 1/60th of a second to a full second. So the last thing I need to grab, well not last, but almost last, is a function, f of x, just one input. I'm going to again make 3 of these. And then I'm just going to copy and paste, drag the delta from the function for each of the velocities and then multiply it by 60. And then I'm just going to copy and paste this, Control C and Control V. And now if you wanted your X velocity, you could just plug this in. If you wanted your Y, you could just plug that in. But help. Okay, my control stack, that was weird. That's where you could stop, but I want all of them together for my total velocity. So I'm going to grab a function again. It's going to have 3 inputs this time, X, Y, and Z. And then I'm just going to connect X, Y, and Z respectively, and this will go to the output. And now we have to do a little bit of weird, like Pythagorean stuff, which I'll explain at the end. But for now, just know that you have to have a square, or square root, SQRT, and then you need to have X with this little symbol, which means squared, to the power of 2, plus Y to the power of 2, plus Z to the power of 2. And that's it. So if we just walk through all of this, we grab our position, we find out how much is changing in 1/60th of a second, and multiply it by 60 to get per second. And then we just add them all together by squaring them, adding them, and then putting it under square root. And that's all that you have to do. So if we go to our design properties, I'm going to name this Astro Thing New. I'm going to copy and paste that and then save it as the same name for simplicity. And then if we go here, we can just get Astro Thing New. Where is it? Where is it? Here it is. And then I'm going to connect in the composite. And if we want to test it, we can just grab a linear speed sensor. Put that like right there, I guess. And then grab 2 displays. So we can have one, so bad at building. We can have one here and here. The linear will go here. The astronomy one will go here. If we just spawn that in and push it around, we're going to see it's going to work just fine. So sorry if it's laggy, by the way. I don't know why the space lags. But if we look, we can see, whoa, what happened? It got stuck. We could see it's almost exactly the same. There might be a little bit of difference just because of, you know, it takes time for the logic to work, but it's close enough to the point where it's not even really, there's no noticeable difference. But that's how you do that. And if you wanted just your velocity in the X and the Y, you would just delete the Z. But anyways, it's time to go to Paint 3D to explain how that works. So let's see if I can get this to work without it being really complicated. Is it gonna work? Please, OBS. Hello? Oh, I've just selected my display. There we go. So if I go to new, and I'm just gonna show you how this works essentially. So we have the Z, well in Stormworks this is called the Y, so I'm gonna call that the Y. And then here is gonna be the X, and then this Whoa, that's weird. I don't like that. Nope. That's the Z in Stormworks. In normal applications, Z is up here and Y is over here. But it's fine. We're just going to ignore it. So if I'm changing my velocity, let's change to a different color. In X, so say I'm... I don't know how to explain this too well. Say I'm going this way, right? That's my X vector. So that would be my Vx. But if I was also going in the Z, going this way too, what happens is I can't just go, ew, add. Spotify, go away. It's not just going to be the X and Z. It's going to be in between them, depending on how much. So if this was all the way up here, then I'm going to have my velocity pushing me that way, and then up here. So my velocity vector, the direction I'm going, is going to look like that. Now, if I delete all of that, almost. Now what if I had the Y too? I would have my velocity vector here, here, and here. So I would first start off by drawing the X and the Z. So if I didn't have Y velocity, I'd be going that way. But then I also have to incorporate the Y, which is a little weirder, because you have to have this, and then you also need to include like that. And so the direction I'd be going is that way. And that's essentially what we're doing. We're just doing the hypotenuse of the triangle. We're getting this and this to find this. And then we're just doing it again with a different number. So hopefully that all made sense. If there's any questions, just ask them. I'll be happy to try to answer anything or explain it better. But yeah.